Ever notice how the deepest cuts are the ones nobody can see? You wake up, put on that perfect mask, and tell the world you're fine. But inside, there's this gnawing emptiness that follows you everywhere. You've tried everything, haven't you? Therapy, meditation, retail therapy, maybe even a few substances you'd rather not admit to. Yet here you are, still carrying that weight. What if I told you the real reason you're suffering has nothing to do with your job, your relationships, or even your bank account? What if the source of your pain is something far more personal and terrifying? Hit that subscribe button if you're ready to stop running from the truth, because what I'm about to share will change how you see yourself forever. You think you know yourself, but you don't. Not really. Carl Jung, the brilliant Swiss psychiatrist, spent his life proving one devastating fact. Most of us are strangers to ourselves. We live entire lifetimes never meeting the person staring back in the mirror. Here's what's really happening to you. From the moment you could walk and talk, society started molding you. Be nice. Don't cause trouble. Smile even when you're dying inside. And slowly, piece by piece, you buried the real you so deep that you forgot it existed. That authentic self. The one with messy emotions and inconvenient desires. You locked it away in what Jung called the unconscious. And now it's screaming to get out. Every panic attack, every sleepless night, every moment you feel lost, that's your true self banging on the prison walls you built. You see, consciousness isn't just what you're aware of right now. It's an iceberg. The tip above water is your everyday thoughts and feelings. But beneath the surface lies a massive, hidden world that controls more of your life than you could ever imagine. Jung discovered that this hidden realm operates by its own rules. It speaks in symbols, dreams, and seemingly random emotional explosions. It's why you suddenly feel rage at your partner for loading the dishwasher wrong. It's why certain people trigger you for no logical reason. Your unconscious is trying to tell you something, but you're not listening. The most dangerous part, your unconscious doesn't just influence you, it can completely hijack your life. Ever wonder why you keep dating the same type of person who hurts you? Why you sabotage good opportunities? Why you feel stuck in patterns you hate but can't break? That's your unconscious running the show while you think you're in control. But here's where it gets really dark. Jung identified something he called the shadow, the collection of everything about yourself that you've rejected, denied, or hidden away. Your shadow contains your rage, your shame, your forbidden desires, your deepest fears. Everything you've decided is unacceptable about being human, and your shadow is hungry. It feeds on your denial. The more you pretend it doesn't exist, the stronger it becomes. It starts showing up in unexpected ways. You explode at a waitress. You cheat on your partner. You make self-destructive choices that shock even you. That's your shadow taking revenge for being ignored. Most people spend their entire lives at war with their shadow, trying to be good and pure. But Jung realized something revolutionary. The shadow isn't your enemy. It's the exiled part of your soul that just wants to come home. Think about every person who annoys you, every quality you judge harshly in others. Jung would say you're looking at your own shadow projected outward. The things we hate most in others are often the things we've rejected most violently in ourselves. But here's the twist that changes everything. Your shadow also contains your greatest strength. All that energy you've spent suppressing parts of yourself. That's power you could be using to create, to lead, to become who you're truly meant to be. Your anger could become fierce protection of what matters. Your sadness could become deep compassion. Your shame could become authentic vulnerability that connects you to others. Jung called this process shadow work, the courageous act of turning toward everything you've been running from. It means having honest conversations with yourself about who you really are beneath all the nice person conditioning. Start small. Notice what triggers you. When someone cuts you off in traffic and you feel disproportionate rage, ask yourself, What part of me is this touching? When you feel jealous of someone's success, dig deeper. What dream of yours have you given up on? Keep a journal. Write down your dreams, even the weird ones. Your unconscious speaks fluent symbol, and dreams are direct messages from the parts of you that are trying to surface. Don't analyze them to death, just notice the patterns. Pay attention to your body. That knot in your stomach when you're around certain people, that's your unconscious trying to protect you. That sudden fatigue when you have to pretend to be someone you're not. Your soul is literally exhausted from the performance. But the real work happens when you stop judging these parts of yourself and start listening to them. Your anger has something to say. Your sadness carries important information. Your fear is trying to keep you safe, even if it's outdated protection from childhood wounds. This isn't about becoming a different person. It's about becoming a whole person, someone who owns all of their parts instead of being at war with half of themselves. Now let's talk about something nobody wants to hear. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is information. It's your psyche's way of saying something here needs attention. But we live in a culture that treats emotional pain like a malfunction to be fixed as quickly as possible. You take pills, binge Netflix, scroll social media, buy things, start new relationships, anything to avoid sitting with discomfort. But Jung discovered that pain avoided becomes pain prolonged. The feelings you refuse to feel don't disappear. They go underground and run your life from the shadows. Every emotional crisis you've ever had was actually an opportunity for growth that you probably missed. Because instead of asking, "What is this pain trying to teach me?" you ask, "How can I make this stop?" What if pain is actually intelligence? What if your depression is your soul's way of saying, "This life you're living isn't working"? What if your anxiety is highlighting all the ways you're betraying yourself? What if that feeling of emptiness is simply space waiting to be filled with something authentic? Jung believed that suffering was sacred, not because pain is good, but because it's often the only thing powerful enough to wake us up from the trance of unconscious living. Comfort keeps us asleep. Crisis cracks us open. Think about every major positive change in your life. How many happened when everything was going perfectly? Probably none. It's usually when life forces us to confront something we've been avoiding that real transformation becomes possible. But here's the key. You have to stop treating pain like punishment and start treating it like a teacher. When emotional pain shows up, instead of immediately trying to escape it, try getting curious about it. What is this feeling trying to tell me? What part of my life is out of alignment? What truth am I avoiding? This doesn't mean wallowing in pain or making it your identity. It means developing the courage to feel difficult emotions fully so they can move through you instead of getting stuck inside you. When you start approaching pain this way, something miraculous happens. You stop being afraid of your own feelings. You realize that emotions, even painful ones, are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. You develop what Jung called holding the tension, the ability to be present with discomfort without immediately needing to fix or change it. And here's what nobody tells you. On the other side of fully felt pain is always something valuable. Clarity, strength, compassion, authentic connection with others who have walked similar paths. The very thing you're trying to avoid might be the doorway to who you're meant to become. But integration, becoming whole, isn't a destination you arrive at once and never visit again. It's a daily practice of choosing consciousness over unconsciousness, authenticity over performance, truth over comfort. As you begin to reclaim the exiled parts of yourself, something shifts. You stop needing everyone to like you because you actually like yourself. You stop seeking validation from others because you're no longer at war with who you are. You start making decisions based on your values rather than your fears. This doesn't mean you become perfect or that life becomes easy. It means you become real. And real people can handle whatever life brings because they're not spending half their energy maintaining a false self. You start noticing that the people and situations that used to trigger you don't have the same power over you. Not because you've become numb, but because you're no longer carrying around all that unprocessed emotional baggage. Your relationships change too. Some people will be threatened by your authenticity because it highlights their own disconnection from themselves. Others will be drawn to your realness like moths to flame. You'll naturally start attracting people who can handle the full spectrum of who you are. The work Jung outlined isn't therapy, it's initiation. It's the process of growing from someone who's controlled by unconscious forces into someone who's aware of those forces and can choose how to respond to them. But here's the responsibility that comes with this awareness. Once you see, you can't unsee. Once you know that most of your suffering comes from internal disconnection, you can't keep blaming everyone else for your pain. You have to own your part in the patterns that keep repeating in your life. This is scary because it means you're responsible for your own transformation. No guru, therapist, or self-help book can do this work for you. They can point the way, but you have to walk the path, and the path is lifelong. Jung himself said that individuation, becoming who you truly are, is the work of an entire lifetime. There's no graduation ceremony, no final achievement. There's only the ongoing choice to meet yourself with curiosity instead of judgment, courage instead of avoidance. So where do you start? Right here, right now. Stop pretending you don't know what I'm talking about. Stop acting like your pain is random or meaningless. Your suffering is your soul's GPS, telling you exactly where you need to go. Start paying attention to your patterns. What situations consistently trigger you? What types of people do you repeatedly attract or get attracted to? What emotions do you work hardest to avoid? These are all breadcrumbs leading back to the parts of yourself that need integration. Find support for this work. Whether it's therapy, spiritual guidance, or trusted friends who aren't afraid of depth, you don't have to do this alone. In fact, you can't do it alone. We become ourselves in relationship with others who can mirror back parts of us we can't see. Be patient with the process. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it's not linear. You'll have breakthrough moments followed by periods that feel like you're going backward. That's normal. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a spiral where you revisit the same issues at deeper levels. Most importantly, your journey back to yourself is also a gift to everyone whose life you touch. Because the world doesn't need more people pretending to be perfect. It needs more people brave enough to be real. If this resonates with you, if something in your chest recognizes truth in these words, don't let this be just another video you watched. Let it be the moment you decided to stop running from yourself. Drop a comment below and tell me, what part of your shadow are you ready to stop fighting? What pain have you been avoiding that might actually be trying to guide you home? Your story matters, your healing matters, and it starts the moment you choose consciousness over comfort, truth over safety, wholeness over perfection. The journey back to yourself is waiting. All you have to do is take the first step.